Hello everyone and welcome back to Kentucky Garden Gal. In this video, we are going to be talking about a 4-season garden. The first question that we'll answer is, what is a 4-season garden? What do I mean by that? That is a garden where you have interest in your garden all 4 seasons of the year: spring, summer, winter, and fall. And just look at this oak leaf hydrangea. Oh my stars. It is almost at its peak, not quite, but look at these beautiful, beautiful flowers. Look at that. This thing is huge. And let me also say that a friend of mine gave me a start of this. I didn't even go to the nursery and buy this. It was just and let me step back so you can see just how big this is. Okay, so obviously I get distracted easily. So let's go back to our 4-season garden. One of the things that I really enjoy is this Savannah holly. I planted it myself, and let's walk a little closer because you can see the red berries. Now, I like to have things in my garden, and we'll take this from the beginning of the year, like in January. So obviously that would be spring, the start of the new year. You've just come through Christmas, so then you sort of nest. We're in zone 7. Our weather is usually not that great, so we have a lot of downtime where we can just really be indoors, enjoy the things that we enjoy doing indoors. But then you are thinking as a gardener about what grows next, like what do I look forward to? And we have to walk around the house for me to show you my first flower of the year. Okay, this is a Lenten rose, or a hellebore, and this flower has been here since January. This is the first plant that comes into my garden, and then after that we will start seeing tulips and daffodils, which of course I have those all along here. They're gone now, but let me show you something with this tulip. So I like to do these garden containers. These are just totes that I pick up from Walmart. So this is from a tulip. This is a seed pod, and I have never grown tulips from seed. However, I did do some research on this because this is actually the first time I've had one to form. And what you can do is when it dries, I'll just take it and I'll just sort of put it down in here, because there's lots of tulip bulbs in this container here. So I think it takes several years from seed to maturity, but I have this pot anyway, so why not go ahead and just see if we can grow tulips from seed? Wouldn't that be fun? So, like I said, in the spring, this is where my tulips were. Now, I don't come in and cut these back. I let them die back naturally. And you may think, well, gosh, isn't that a little messy? It can be, but I also come along and I plant other flowers that sort of hide what's going on here. And then eventually, this will just it'll just sort of break off or come off. But I let my flowers die back naturally. Here's a perfect example right here. This is what the tulip looks like, and then when it gets to that point, you can just pick it up and you can just throw it away. And as you can see, I already have other flowers in here, which is fine. So Also in the spring, we start thinking of our flowering trees, and I have planted, the ones that I had, they were diseased and so they had to come down, but I do have 1, 2, 3 dogwoods that are new this year. So I have started to replace the trees that I had to cut down because, like I said, they were diseased, different things like that. But let's go back talking about the 4-season garden. So how do you create that? Like if you like the look of a 4-season garden, and as I walk around, I'll show you different examples of this in my own garden. So how do you create this? And the way that I did it for my garden, whatever was in bloom in the season, if I saw something in somebody's yard or I was driving along, then I would find out what is that, and I would find it and bring it into my own garden. So that way, now is your garden going to look perfect all 4 seasons? Absolutely not. I mean, gardens, they ebb and flow. They look good, they're at their peak, and then they die back, and it's part of the process. And as a gardener, the older I've gotten, the more I have come to enjoy the process, because I realize that is just the glory of nature. That is how it works, and everything needs a time for rest, like in the winter. But you can look out on the snowiest, coldest days and know that in your garden there is so much going on underground, which I think is just so cool. But let me point this out to you real fast. So this was the foxglove, and if you've been watching my channel, you know a foxglove is a biannual. It is something that I struggled with for years to get established in my garden, and now I have finally gotten them established. So they are, this is a foxglove here, here, here. There's 3 in this area. Now they are going to be dropping seeds. Look at all of these seed pods in here. So I can come out and collect them, but I will just let them drop because I will not turn down a foxglove. I just think they're beautiful. So I'm going to step back just a little bit. As we've come over and looked at this area for probably the past month, we've really enjoyed the foxglove. But what do you see now? Look at these glorious lilies. And then coming right behind them, you've got your hollyhocks. You've got your hydrangeas. The coneflowers are coming out. So you always have something in bloom. And this beautiful hydrangea, I am not sure I have ever seen. Look how big these flowers are. Are those not gorgeous? They are just absolutely stunning. Now, it's not me. We have had a lot of rain here in South Central Kentucky. So this is sort of how it works, is that when one thing is not at its peak, you have something popping back up. That's one of the advantages to a 4-season garden. Now, one thing that I love, and right here is a perfect example. This is a Nandina bush. These will self-seed themselves. I don't think I bought the original plant. I'm pretty sure somebody let me come and dig it up from their garden. But I want to have things that I can decorate. I love to decorate inside and out with live florals. And I can do that completely from my yard. So that for Christmas, I have the nandinas, I have the berries, the Savannah holly that I showed you earlier. And then we'll just take a little walk through, and I'll I'll show you the best tree to have, in my opinion, for Christmas is a magnolia. Oh my goodness, you just cannot go wrong with a magnolia tree. It is absolutely, I've done many videos on how to make swags, wreaths, different things, but that is my biggest decorator right there, is my magnolia tree. Now, I like to have evergreens because you do need evergreens in your garden as the base of your decorating. It doesn't, depends on what you're making as far as your Christmas florals, but you do need a lot of greenery. So I always try to have evergreens and even boxwoods. Boxwoods are great to decorate with at Christmas time. They are super easy to propagate. We'll walk up in the front towards this, and I will show you what I've done up here. So you will see in this container that I just have an evergreen, and I haven't come in and done it yet. I'm terribly behind, but I keep this evergreen in both of these containers, and then I just come in and decorate seasonally around them. Now in this, I really build this up at Christmas time, and I just fill it full of things from my own garden. And then, like I said, there's boxwoods there. When I trim them, I take the trimmings, I propagate, start new ones. This is another example of something that I use seasonally. So in the spring, there were tulips. Now there's glads coming up. Those tulip bulbs will come back year after year after year, and they will naturalize. So I basically have a spring and a summer garden or interest in this one pot here. Right now in my garden, everything is lush. We've just had tons of rain. Things have just grown like crazy. But what happens when everything starts to when they start to shed the leaves and things aren't so pretty? We have our arborvitaes, which our arborvitaes, our magnolia trees, that is the structure in our garden. It frames my garden. You can sort of see here how I have done this, but I have certain trees that will always be there. We'll let Mr. Motorcycle go by us. So we have our structure trees. On the other side, you saw the magnolia tree. Of course, there's the big water maple. That's been here forever, but it does, of course, lose its leaves. And then, things do look barren and not as happy in the fall and in the winter. But if you have a good structure, a good base, this Savannah holly looks good all year long. This Nandina, green all year long. And then, of course, in the winter, you have your pretty berries. The arborvitaes that you're seeing here, green all year long. So then you tuck in other plants that are going to give you your color, your interest. If you want a cutting garden, just whatever you would like. And here is an example. I've showed you this bed many times. It's a little ragged, it needs to be weeded. But the first thing that we have in here are our irises, and they are the white irises, and I'm telling you, they are stunning. You see, this is where the front of the house is. As soon as you drive past the house, you see these irises in bloom. They are absolutely gorgeous. And then right behind them, and they were blooming some together, but you have the knockout roses. Now, over here, these are some roses these are all climbing roses that will cover this arbor. but this is what these will look like. These are yellow roses, so eventually these will come up and they will cover this arch. I have them on both sides, and then just when the roses come out, here come the daylilies, and they are just stunning. So I have gone from the irises to the roses to the daylilies. So then you might ask, okay, what do you like in the fall? One of my favorite fall plants is the sedum. It looks nice and green. It's that sagey green. It's next to the hosta, but then it has these beautiful bright orangey red flowers that come up in the fall. And then right next to this, the oak leaf hydrangea, these will not stay white. These will turn almost a pinkish color. So then as the fall comes in, some of your greenery back here is turning colors. You've got your sedum. Now, of course, this is going to die down, and I will usually clean that up. But then you still have your structure of your oak leaf hydrangea. So you really do have a lot of interest in your garden all 4 seasons. Now, I have started adding, this is an azalea, and don't look at my sidewalk. I don't have any line for my weed eater, and it just looks terrible. But this year, the only thing that I had here was this hosta and these 2 daylilies, there and there, and then the sedums. I have added everything else because I want to be able to look out my front door and just see my sidewalk beautiful with color and interest. I've planted more roses. So you've got the roses again, you have got the daylilies, there is another oak leaf hydrangea. And I just do that over and over and over in the flower beds. I make sure that I have something that's going to look pretty in all seasons. Now, is it going to be as lush as it is right now? Probably not, but at least you're going to have something. You're going to have some structure. You see the little evergreens tucked in right there. That gives you some color. Then right up behind it, you have got the magnolia. So as you walk around your garden, you do have things of interest. Here is another good example. I don't remember what these were. I had some of them to bloom, but this is a spring flower, and I went ahead and I filled it in with some other flowers. So this will die back, this will come and take over, and then I've gotten 2 seasons out of this pot. Now, another great thing about having these pots and containers in your garden is that it is very easy in the wintertime. That can take you all the way through January, which, remember, I said our hellebores were coming in. You can tuck things into your pots that will give them winter interest. It's really easy just to go around from your own garden and cut things and tuck them into planters, just different places. Now these I'll have to take in to the greenhouse because they won't survive. These will stay out. I'll take the asparagus fern out, but then I can also tuck some other things in there just to give my garden more interest. So I hope that has answered the question. What is a 4-season garden? Why would you want a 4-season garden? And how do you make a 4-season garden? So that is what this video has been about. I hope that it's encouraged you, and I hope that you are enjoying your gardening adventure. And I appreciate everyone watching, and I will see you in the next video.